Hi Christian, Nikolai here. I'm creating this video to share with you something that will help you, and also to reply to your post in the group First in Line with Gary V. Now I want to draw something here that is going to show you visually what I'm talking about, because sometimes when we communicate, if we are just talking about things, it's easy to misunderstand and misinterpret different things that we are saying. So I will draw and explain and talk. I hope that it's not too boring, because I don't actually do much videos. I don't do videos anyway, but I need to start. And I wanted to share with you something that I know that will help you, at least in the form of a perspective. So let's start. And what I want to start with is the following. You mentioned about time, that you cannot manage your time well. The point, and more exactly, the problem is not necessarily managing time, but knowing what you want, where you want to go, and things like that. So I'm not going to specifically answer to your two questions about starting the second job, or waiting and generating some energy. Instead, I will try to answer the other questions that you have, that are unspoken but are there in between the lines. Now, the first thing is your goals. And let's go back to time and time management. Right now, you have some time on your hands, some free time on your hands, and you can use that in your advantage in very intelligent, strategic, and extremely efficient way. How and why? Why? Because once you do that, once you take this free time, sit down, define your goals, create a map for your goals, and you are clear about what you want to achieve, this will help you to go into taking action and actionalize these steps, these goals, easily. And you will see not only the goals and the steps that you need to take, but you also will you will see what is stopping you and what will stop you. I will show you in a second. And the second thing is that you already have that time present. So you don't have kids or family, from what I'm seeing. You have free time, but you don't actually use it specifically and intentionally, which is the problem, that you feel you don't manage it. You actually use it, but not on the things that you actually want to achieve. That's why it feels like you're wasting your time and not actually being productive, which in a sense is true, but not entirely, because you also learn from your inactivity and from your failures. But let's stick to the point here. So we need to start using our time more efficiently. So in your case, you can start with the following. Take a white piece of paper, or even better, few piece of papers. So 2, 3, or more than one, just in case, because you can write a lot of things. But one will be sufficient, at least one. Okay, so you need something to write on, maybe a whiteboard, but if it's a whiteboard, you need to record or transcribe this what you're writing on the whiteboard. Creating goals, ideas, and dreams is a process of creation that we humans have, and it's a very simple process but very effective and very powerful if you understand it and if you follow it. The moment you create an idea, a dream, or a goal, you create 2 points in time. Those 2 points are the point you are at this present moment, or let me, oops, let me delete this, but to be more clear, not to put much details, you create 2 points. Let's call them point A, point B. You are right here at point A. This is your present moment, right now. Oh, let's write it down. Present. Right? This is your present moment. And also you have point B, your future. Whoops. Oh, come on. Your future moment. So point A and point B are points in time and space. This means that if you are here in point A in your living room and you want to go to the toilet, you create point B as your goal, and your point B is somewhere in space and time. It's, in this case, your toilet, and it is located somewhere physically, and also it has distance of time, so you need to take certain time to reach this point. Probably not the greatest example, but is the most relatable. And you want to go to the toilet. You create these 2 points. Now you know where you want to go. The same thing is with every other idea, goal, or dream. In your case, you was talking about business, so you want to reach from your standpoint here in your present time and create a business, and you want to have business. In between these 2 points, to reach the point B, you have different things that are required to happen, and we can define 3 main categories: things to do, things that will and are stopping you, and also the third is the unknown. Whoops. So we have point A, point in time and space. We have point B, point in time and space, and we have a bunch of things that can happen, will happen, should happen, are happening in between point A and point B, which almost all of them can be described and defined in those 3 categories: things to do, things that will and are stopping you, and the unknown. Now, I'm not going to dive in much in this, but basically there are things that you need to do in order to reach point B. If you want to create a business, you need to define your goal, and that is, you need to define what type of business do you want, what is going to be your role in this business? How big do you want to create this business? What impact do you want to have with that business? What products and services do you want to have and to offer? And things like that. You don't need to go too heavy on this, but you need to be as clear as possible as you can. You know? The reason is because the more clarity you have, you can more easily define your steps, more easily define what stops you, what will stop you, and what you don't know. And all of these will help you be effective and take action. Because imagine in front of you right now, if this was just a blank white piece of paper, and you know that you want to create a business, but do you see something? You don't see anything. And even if you do, you do see these things in your mind. You are thinking about them, but the moment you go outside in the real, in the physical world, and you, let's say, you go to work, you forget about everything that you was thinking about, and there is again this blank space. That's why the moment you create something and you start to create a map, you start to define and write down what do you want. You also, by the way, you need to do this like this. Point A, point B, like a map. Create a map. This will help your mind. So the moment you start to create things physically, so you can actually see them, you're making few things happening at the same time. You have visual information that you can use for you consciously and for your subconscious mind as well. You have clarity because you can actually see where you want to go. You can see the things that you have to do, right? You have defined things that you need to do. And let's say in 10 days, you define everything. In 10 days, you pull up this, you look at it, and you say, oh, wow, I've reached this point here, and I need to do this. Okay, so I can go do this, and I will be one step closer to my goal. Instead of just not having this, thinking about what I should do next, losing time, energy, and probably not even defining what you need to do next, but actually defining something you shouldn't do and go do that. Instead, you already have the plan, you just look at it and you take the next step. Or you can actually adjust. You can adjust everything that you see here. You can let's say, you can actually do this. Or let's say if it's a piece of paper, you can do this X and define something else. Say, okay, this is not going to work, or this is not that important, this is more important. And you can actually edit and even clarify further your plan towards your goal. The next thing that will help here is the conscious and the subconscious part of your mind. So let's do it here. Conscious and subconscious. So your mind have primarily two parts, conscious and subconscious, where when you have this, when you have clarity and visuals, something that you can see, that you already have defined, like I need to do this, I need to do that, this is my goal, your mind consciously will see, oh cool, I need to do this, let's go do this. It's easy for you. But at the same time, subconsciously, your subconscious mind will see everything that you have defined and will take it as instructions and also as a direction for you to go into. And in the situation where your subconscious mind is taking the lead, which is so much time, it's so big part of the time that that's very important for you to use that. Okay, I will explain this conscious and subconscious part, because I will going to be kind of misunderstood here if I continue, because it's out of context here. But anyway, it will help you consciously and subconsciously when you create this. Also, you can show this to your mentor, to someone that actually understands how to reach this goal and can help you and say, okay, this here is good, but you don't need it. For example, you don't need site. You can start business without a site. Okay, and you will say, okay, this is a step, but it's not important. So from here, I will go to here because this is more important. Start offering your offers to clients, start connecting with clients. You don't need a site, right? And you go here and you reach faster here. That's why this is so important. This is also important because it will give you something else. It will give you motive. The moment you define your goal and you do it more clearly with details, you will find your motivation here. Why you do it? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to achieve it? Why do you want to experience it? This is very powerful. Also, motive and reasoning, which they are almost the same, but let's say they are the same. So you will have motive and reasoning, and you will create something else here, which if you do it manually will be even more powerful, which is priority. Priority. So I will write it down here because it's very powerful word. It's very powerful overall, and priority will give you action. Because the moment you, the more clear is your goal, the more clear are the steps towards your goal, and the more you believe and you see how you can achieve your goal, the bigger priority you will attach. Of course, that's not how priority works, but this is a bonus way how you can manipulate priority without actually knowing how to attach and work with priority, which is awesome, which is the beauty of our intelligence, our mind intelligence. But if you learn what priority is and how it works, you most certainly will take action. And sometimes even fear and negative beliefs will be like not useless but powerless. Will be powerless in the face of priority, because priority, my friend, is more powerful than fear, than beliefs, than everything that can stop you. But the things that can stop you also have priority. So that's why it's very important to understand this if you want to use it. But this is just a bonus. You don't need to do it now, because what you need to start is with this. These are the benefits, motive, priority, reasoning. These are the other benefits on a mental level that will help you when you start and you define this map. Something else that will help you here is not only defining your steps, but also define what can and will stop you in the future. For example, the things that are stopping you, action, I call them action stoppers. These things are lack of knowledge, lack of information, lack of resources, lack of connections. Also, it can be negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, fears, all those things that can stop you from taking action and doing what you need to do to reach your goal, your desired destination. And you can define them if you already know them, or if you face them, or you feel them. It's good to define them. They are something like this. There will be like stop signs along the way, you know. Whoops. there will, and they will stop you from continuing forward. You can have signs here, or danger. They will stop you. These signs will stop you from taking action. If you are able to define them, if you know what are your fears, what do you lack, like for example, you lack resources right now, right? This is something that you lack, and these are things that you can define here, define your steps, and when you define those, everything else will start to pop up, to show up. It's not that important in the beginning if you don't understand it, but this is the most important. You need to define what you need to do. Once you have this as a basis of everything here, the things that will stop you will show up on their own. The things that you don't know, the unknown, will show on its own. So these three are related, but the moment you define these, what the things you need to do, the other things will automatically show up. That's why clarity, knowing what to do, is seeing what to do as well. And when you see what to do and something is stopping you, you can actually define what that is. For example, you want to go meet investors and pitch your idea, and you know where to go, you know the people, you know the steps, but still something is stopping you. What is stopping you? Well, you know what to do, why don't you do it? Most probably because you have some fear, or you don't know something, or you have some negative belief. And when you sit down and think about what's stopping me from doing that, from going and meeting investors, you can define it and overcome it, and then proceed to action. Oh, this is taking too long. Well, I like to explain because I like when something is clearly defined and could be understood even from a little child. I'm not doing this because I think you don't understand or you don't know this. I do it because the more clearly, more simplistic, and sometimes repeatedly explained something is, the easier for your subconscious mind to understand it. Because your subconscious mind is not like your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is more like a kid. It needs instructions, it needs clarity, and the more clarified, more clear something is, the better for your subconscious mind, the better it will understand it, and the better you will understand it and use it in the future. Okay, let's continue. What else? Now, this is something that you can do pretty fast. It doesn't take that much of a time to create this map. You simply sit down and you think about these things and you write them down. So something else, something else that is related with this process of creating a map for your goal or dream or idea, in this case your goal to create a business, you can add something else. Now, the moment you create the steps and the map, you have things that you can see in the future. Like right now you're seeing me, right? If I put if I'm showing you only the writings, you see the writings. But if I show you myself, you now see who is talking to you. You now see more clearly. You see now more clearly the source of the content of what you're hearing, and also the one who is writing down. The same way, when you define your goal and the steps, the little targets you need to take, you see them like a hunter can see the deer and you can actually shoot that target. You can actually go out and achieve those steps, do these steps. This in itself will give you something else that is also important, and it's not motive, it's motivation. There is a difference between motive and motivation. Motive is something that comes from you, from within, which is why the moment you create, the moment you define your goal, you create your motive. That's your you see your motive within your goal. Why you want to create that goal? Why do you want to experience that thing that you want to achieve? This is your motive. But the motivation comes from something outside, something that you see. Like, let's say you watch videos from Gary Vee, from someone else, from Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, or someone, or from Arnold Schwarzenegger or Tim Ferriss. You just watch these videos, they're outside of you, you see them, you hear them, or a podcast, right? And you get pumped, you get motivated. The motivation comes from outside, because when you listening and looking at these videos, you get more clarity. You see, wow, if Gary did it, I can do it. Also, he's explaining to me how to do it. Wow, I'm motivated, I can do it. It's clear what I have to do. I need to do X, Y, Z, and things will happen. Wow, let's go and do it. That's motivation, and it's primarily coming from outside of you. It can come from within, but you need to create it. You need to say, wow, I need to go there, I need to go there. Why? Here is the motive. That's why when you have your motive, you have your steps. You want to create a business, right? In this example, you want to create a business. That's what you want. Your motive is because, let's say, you want freedom for you, for yourself and your family, and this is your motive. And when you see, let's say, a video of Gary Vee or someone else, or a picture or something, doesn't matter what it is, that reminds you of your goal, your motive, and inspires you to take action, says to you that, oh, that's easy, or if I do this, I will achieve this, and you understand that it will help your goal and your motive, then you got motivation, and you can go and do things, and you have this energy. Of course, there is so much more to this topic. This is just a simple example, and it is another bonus from this map that I'm showing you, that you need to create in order to be more clear and clarify your goals, your steps, and to be actually able to see it not only when you create it, but whenever you want to see it, and to edit it, to develop that plan, that strategy, and make it even more clear. Something else that I wrote down that I wanted to share with you was, what was it?